Sometimes the darkest crimes don't happen in dark alleyways or abandoned houses. They happen in homes that look ordinary, familiar, safe. In North Wales, a bright little boy named Ethan Ives was fighting for his life, and no one heard him. Behind the neat curtains of a small house in Garden City, the people meant to protect him became the people who destroyed him. This is the heartbreaking story of a system that failed, a family that crumbled, and a 2-year-old boy whose laughter was silenced far too soon. Welcome to Murmurs of Crime. Ethan Ives-Griffiths was born in April 2019, one of those lockdown babies who saw the world through windows and computer screens. He was all curls and laughter, his blonde hair sticking up like a dandelion clock, ready to blow in the wind. He loved bananas, the Teletubbies, anything that moved on wheels. A toy car, a digger, anything he could push and watch roll away. His mum, Shannon Ives, was 25, working bar shifts, trying to hold things together. Her parents, Michael and Carrie, offered to help. 3 adults, 1 little boy, 1 small home in Garden City, Deeside. Christmas 2020 looked perfect on social media. Photos of wrapping paper flying, Michael and Carrie smiling proudly. Captions calling him our little miracle. But lockdowns have a way of magnifying what's already there, and behind those smiling photos, cracks were spreading. Michael was furloughed, Carrie's salon closed, Shannon's pub shut its doors. 3 adults trapped under one roof, stress simmering, and in that pressure cooker, love began to curdle into resentment. By spring 2021, Ethan's nursery staff noticed something: fingertip bruises on his tiny arms. They did everything right, logged it, called social services, raised the alarm. But the system did not. A phone call was made to Shannon. She brushed it off. He fell off the sofa. Case closed. No home visit, no follow-up. Then came the health visitor. She noticed Ethan looked pale, underweight. She booked a follow-up in 8 weeks. That appointment was never kept, and no one chased it. Each missed call, each unchecked note, was another hole in the safety net meant to protect him. By summer, messages between Carrie and Michael revealed a chilling picture. Carrie texted, "Ethan's doing my head in, won't eat, won't sleep." Michael replied, "He'll eat when he's hungry, or he'll get nothing." And then came the CCTV. Michael had installed cameras around the house, claiming it was to watch their dog. But what those cameras captured was torture. Michael shouting in Ethan's face for wetting himself, dragging him by one arm across the floor, leaving him standing for hours in a dirty nappy, clutching his stomach, crying. Neighbors heard shouting, but they told themselves it was lockdown stress, the terrible twos. They looked away, and for Ethan, that silence was deadly. By July, Ethan's nursery raised the alarm again. Bruises, weight loss, a black eye. Finally, social services reopened the case and booked a home visit. On the day of the visit, Shannon called. "He's got chickenpox, can we reschedule?" They agreed. A second date was missed. A third was set for August 13th, 2021. That morning, everything came to a head. Back home, Ethan spilled cereal on the floor. Michael saw red. He grabbed Ethan by the shoulders and slammed the back of his head on the laminate floor. A 2-year-old. He was unconscious for 10 minutes. They didn't call 999. Instead, they covered it up, claimed he'd slipped in the bath. At 10 a.m., CCTV caught them in Asda. Michael pushing Ethan in a trolley, his head lolling lifelessly. Carey filming and laughing. Shannon scrolling on her phone. Their child dying right in front of them. Back home, they laid him on the sofa. When the social worker arrived, they said Ethan was napping. She believed them. She never saw him alive again.
By 7 p.m., Ethan started convulsing. His lips turned blue. Only then did Shannon call 999. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but it was too late. Ethan was in cardiac arrest. He was rushed to Alder Hey Children's Hospital. Surgeons tried everything. They removed part of his skull to relieve the swelling, but his brain had already stopped responding. 2 days later, life support was withdrawn. He was just 2 years old. He weighed less than 10 kilograms, and he had older head injuries, silent proof that this wasn't the first time.
Sometimes, the truth doesn't hide in whispers or rumors. It hides in plain sight. In this case, the walls were watching. Michael Ives had fitted CCTV cameras both inside and outside the house. He said it was for security or to keep an eye on the dog. But what those cameras captured was the unfiltered cruelty of life inside that house, the final months of a little boy's suffering. Outside, a camera pointed at both the front and rear gardens, recording scenes that would later make jurors physically recoil. Ethan, tiny, barely 2 years old, was sometimes made to stand outside on the cold patio for being naughty. The footage showed Michael towering over him, shouting, jabbing his finger inches from Ethan's face. In one clip, you can see Carey, the grandmother, standing in the doorway, laughing. At one point, Shannon walks past the window, glances out, and then turns away. No one steps in. No one helps him. The footage goes on. Michael grabbing Ethan by the arm and dragging him back inside, his little legs struggling to keep up. His cries are muffled by the closed door, but the camera catches the moment Michael turns, his face calm, emotionless, as if nothing had happened. And inside, it gets worse. The living room camera, the one Michael had installed for the dog, captured the kind of cruelty that words can barely describe. He screams into Ethan's face for wetting himself. He yanks him off the sofa by one arm. He slaps him across the head when he doesn't eat fast enough. In one haunting clip, Ethan is left in a soiled nappy for nearly 2 hours. He stands there crying, holding his stomach, barely able to stay upright. At one point, Carey walks past, glances at him, and keeps going. No comfort, no care. Prosecutors later described the footage as a diary of sustained torment. It didn't show one moment of rage, it showed a pattern. Day after day, humiliation, starvation, violence, all within reach of people who could have stopped it, but chose not to. When police later seized the footage, detectives said it was like watching a tragedy unfold in real time. Every timestamp, every frame, was a reminder of how long Ethan lived in fear before that final fatal day.
The forensic pathologist said Ethan's head injuries were consistent with a car crash. He was severely malnourished, starved, beaten, humiliated. Within 36 hours, Michael and Carey Ives were arrested for murder, Shannon for allowing the death of a child. All three refused to speak, no comment.
May 2023, Mould Crown Court. The jury watched the supermarket CCTV. Some jurors cried, others turned away. Prosecutor Mark Haywood, KC, said, "This was not a single loss of temper. It was prolonged, systematic violence against a defenseless toddler." After a 6-week trial, the verdicts came in. Michael Ives, guilty of murder. Life minimum 24 years. Carrie Ives, guilty of murder. Life minimum 16 years. Shannon Ives, guilty of allowing the death of a child. 12 years. As the judge delivered his sentence, his words echoed through the courtroom. "You turned a sunny, trusting little boy into a shadow, and then you snuffed that shadow out." Flintshire Council ordered an independent review. The findings were damning. Missed visits, poor communication, no escalation when appointments were cancelled. Council leader Ian Roberts said, "Ethan, we failed you. We will carry that failure forever." The Welsh Government introduced new rules, the no doorstep cancellation policy. Now, if a visit is cancelled, social workers must see the child within 24 hours. It's a small change, but it could save a life.
Ethan's photo now appears in safeguarding training across Wales. His story reminds every social worker and health visitor what can happen when the system looks away. Detective Jones, the officer who led the case, keeps a still frame from the Asda CCTV on his desk. He says he'll never move it. "I never want to forget why we do this job." Maybe that's the lesson for all of us, to keep seeing, keep noticing, keep asking. If you ever suspect a child is being harmed or neglected, please do not stay silent. In the UK, you can call the NSPCC on 0808 800 5000. Or, if you believe a child is in immediate danger, dial 999. One call could save a life.
Ethan Ives never got to ride a bike. He never started school. He never blew out 3 candles on a birthday cake. But maybe, just maybe, his story can stop another light from going out. Thank you for joining me on Murmurs of Crime. If this story moved you, please hit like, subscribe, and share, as it will help my fledgling channel so much. And drop a comment below naming a case you think deserves its own episode for me to cover. I'll see you again very soon. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and never stop listening for the Murmurs of Crime. Bye for now.